Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our new episode. So today we're going to touch on the generational wealth planning. So first of all, we're going to look at the creating a trust, or LLC, which stands for limited liable companies. That'll be the first point. The second point, it will be on the life insurance policies. The third point, we're going to look at the business succession planning. The fourth point, it will be on the real estate as a legacy. The fifth point, it will be on the gifting assets during your lifetime. The fifth one is like education funds for future generations, because it is based on generation wealth planning, or it's all about inheritance really. The seventh point, it will be setting up an estate plan. The eighth point, it will be teaching financial literacy, so teaching your children and grandchildren about the financial literacy education. Then the ninth point, it will be on the investment in a family office. After that, I'm going to give a summary at the end, just as I usually do in all the episodes, just to sum up really what we learned in our episode or our new video. So are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? So our topic today is based on generational wealth planning. So it's all about inheritance, like leaving a legacy. In this case, inheritance, it's all about transmitting wealth to your children and grandchildren as well. So the key is like protect wealth from lawsuits, like creditors as well. The people who lend money, all the lenders are called creditors, and including economic downturns as well. After that, so my people perish for lack of financial knowledge. So you have to get yourself acquainted with financial knowledge. It's only the lack of financial knowledge which makes many of us stress out, seeking for passive income to 3 or 4 incomes. But the life of standard or the cost of living is still high, paying rent and things like that. So let's start, ladies and gentlemen. Let's begin on generational wealth planning. So it's the process of ensuring that wealth is passed down effectively from one generation to the next, to grandchildren, to children as well, and so on and so forth, like securing financial stability for future family members. So you don't have just to think about yourself, think about the future as well, your children, inheritance. So it is about building a legacy that continues to grow and support the future generations, like often involving strategies for asset protections. So in the case of asset protections, you have to think about lawsuits, about creditors, you have to think about economic downturns as well. So keeping your assets against inflation or the rise of prices, or when the money loses its value. You have to think the tax planning as well, and business continuity as well, like leaving business to children and the grandchildren. So I'm going to give like key strategies and applicable like practical examples for generational wealth planning, because I like to keep everything practical. I have to keep throwing examples there as well to explore the imaginative part as well. So we're going to touch on number one, ladies and gentlemen, creating a trust, or LLCs, which stands for limited liable companies. So what is it? So what it is? So it is a legal arrangement in which assets are held by a third party, or trustee in this case, for the benefit of the beneficiaries. So even most of the rich people that don't own anything because they have their LLC, all their assets have been allocated on the LLC, while the LLC again is owned by someone else, but they are the ones who are behind the assets or the investments. Because in the case of investments, when you want to withdraw your money, you have to pay a tax on that investment. So the practical example of that, of creating a trustee or LLCs, it is like a parent sets up a family trust, like to hold the investments, like real estate as well, and business assets. So the trust ensures that assets are managed according to the parents' wishes and distributed to their children and grandchildren without the need for probate. So in the case of probate, it is like there's no need of any legal right. So you don't need any legal right needed before you can withdraw the money. So this also protects the asset from creditors. In this case, creditors just lenders, or legal dispute. So in the case of probate, it is like you need legal right on the properties, money, and possessions of someone, of a deceased parent or deceased member. So number two is like the life insurance policies. So what it is, so life insurance provides a tax-free payout to beneficiaries upon the policyholder's death. Like beneficiaries are like your children and grandchildren after your death. So like ensuring a lump sum, just like a large sum of money, is available to heirs. Like practical example of that as well, of life insurance policies. So a family purchases a whole life insurance policy. So whole package of life insurance that builds cash value over time. So the death benefit is left to the children, assuring they inherit a large sum to maintain the family's lifestyle or pay off debts as well, like a mortgage, like those securing financial stability as well, which is beneficial in this case. The third method is a business succession planning, like a parent leaving business to the first child as well. So what it is, it is a strategy to ensure like the smooth transition of a family business to the next generation. So if you have a parent who own a business or any type of asset, you can do this as well. So it's just like a business practical example. It will be like a business owner creates a succession plan by appointing the eldest child to take over the business. So the parent provides like membership or mentorship and transfer shares of the business over time. So transferring the shares of the business over time, instead of just doing it at once or letting it at the last minute, you start transferring when you're still alive, before you retire as well. So the parent provides, you have to provide mentorship as well in the case of your successor. So assuring the child is prepared to manage the operations of business in this case. Legal structures like buy and sell agreements as well. So buy and sell is like transactions. Agreements ensure that the business remain in family hands after the parent's death, which is a great method as well. So the fourth one is based on the real estate as a legacy as well. In the case of real estate, I like the premises or rental properties. So it is like passing down real estate properties to children or grandchildren can create a long-term income stream. In the case of income streams, like the cash flow, the incomes like the inflow, the money which flows in, and increase in value over time. A practical example of that, it will be like a parent buys multiple rental properties and puts them in trust or direct in the names of their children. So buy like rental properties and put them in the names of your children. So whenever you die, whenever something happens, you cannot tell what will happen tomorrow. So your children remain the owners after your death or after you leave this world. So the rental income provides a passive income for the children, while the properties themselves continue to appreciate or increase in value. So this creates like a long-lasting family asset as well. So in the case when you said investment, real estate is an investment as well. So it is an asset. The fifth method is like gifting assets during your lifetime. So you start gifting the assets when you're still alive. So what it is, so it is like gifting. Like gifting allows you to transfer wealth to your heirs or your heirs during your lifetime without being subject to a larger tax penalty as well. So in the case even of a gift, you have to be careful about the tax. If the gift is too valuable, you may have a tax penalty as well, even on a gift. So a practical example of that is like a parent uses their annual tax-free gift allowance to transfer funds or assets. Like it can be like stocks or assets as well, or shares, like stocks or shares. Like if you're holding shares in the company, you transfer that to your children's name, to their children, like over time. This minimizes the taxable estate, or while helping the next generation build wealth early. So instead of just leaving everything at last time or last minute, you start doing over time. In the case to minimize the taxable estate, while trying to help them as well, your children as they grow up. So some families may also give the like portions of the family businesses or shares in their investment accounts. So if you're holding shares, you can start transferring that share to your family as well, or your children's accounts. So the sixth method is like education, funds for future generations, like trying to keep some funds or secure some funds for future, like for children in the near future. When they're still little or young, you keep securing funds for their college education or the third level education, which is just college or university. So what it is like a setting up funds especially for educational purposes can give younger generations the financial freedom to pursue higher education without debt as well. So in the case of a third level education, that's why most of the people get in debt, most of the students. But you have to, as a parent, you have to try to avoid that. So you have to start giving like the young generations the financial freedom to pursue higher education, in the case to avoid debt without any debt. Imagine that finishing their college, universities, or 4 years or 5 or 6 years without any debt. That will be a miracle in our generation. So practical example of that, let's say a grandparent establishes a 529 saving account. So in this case, the 529 saving account is just a state-sponsored investment plan, or an education trust for their grandchildren. So the money grows tax-free because the grandparent is age, the money is going to grow tax-free. And while the grandchild or the grandchild is going to reach like the college age, they can use the funds really to cover tuition or expenditures, expenditures. So this ensures that the next generation is well educated and debt free, which is an asset as well in this case. The second one is setting up an estate plan. So what it is like a comprehensive estate plan, includes wills, trust as well, and health directives to ensure that your wishes are carried out and your assets are distributed efficiently. So in the case of wills, you can say, after I go, this guy will take this portion, my child, my wife, my first son, second son, daughter, and things like that. That's all about wills and trust, really. So the practical example of that, let's say a couple like father and mother works with an estate planner to create a will and a living trust. So let's say your parents work with an estate planner to create a will and a living trust. So the will outlines the distribution of personal assets, like dividing, while the trust bypasses probate and allows immediate transfer of property and investment to their heirs. So in the case of probate, we said we're going beyond we don't need any law before we take the possessions, before we take anything which belongs to the deceased person. So that's all about probate, like property, money, or possessions. So you're going to bypass that. That is the meaning of trust. You want to bypass the probate and allow immediate transfer of property and investments to their heirs. So they also establish power of attorney. So in the case of attorney, it's like American term. So attorney is just a lawyer who's been like appointed to help someone in the case of any business or legal related. So and health, like power of attorney and the health directives to ensure that their financial and the medical decisions are handled by trusted individuals. So in this case, you want to find someone who's trusted, someone who can trust. After you go, they will take care of your children. Maybe take all the business and legal actions against or for your children, not against them. So the second method is like teaching financial literacy to children and grandchildren as well. You want to teach them financial literacy. This is why I keep repeating, my people perish for lack of knowledge. But what kind of knowledge? So is this all about the financial knowledge? Most of the people neglect financial knowledge. But you want the passive income. You want to become rich. You want success. You want attraction. You cannot achieve them without becoming acquainted with the financial, economical, or the business world. So in the case of teaching financial literacy, which is essential, beneficial, and crucial in this case in our generation or in all the generations or previous and the next one to come. So educating children and grandchildren about how to manage, grow, and protect wealth is a critical aspect of assuring long-term financial security. I have to put more emphasis on that financial literacy. It is crucial. So practical example of that, let's say like a parent involves their children in the family investment discussions and teaches them about budgeting, how to divide your income, expenditures, and income throughout the year, the 12 months. That's all about budgeting. So you have the income or the salary or the wages, and then you have to divide it, how you're going to spend the expenditures. Or maybe you're going to save as well, invest in things like that. So teach them about budgeting, teach them about saving and investing as well. Different assets, like in the low-cost investments as well. The ETFs, the exchange traded funds, which we have done all the videos on my YouTube on the investing for beginners and advanced. So the family might hold like regular meetings to discuss the performance of the family's investments and the estate plans as well, like ensuring the young generation understand their responsibilities and how to manage their inheritance. So this is why I keep saying richness is not all about the money or the whatever you have in your pocket. It's all about the mindset first, the education. Even though you have been left, let's say 10 million today, you'll not even stay with the 10 million in 3 months. Let's be realistic. When you lack the education or the financial literacy, but when you teach the young generation about the financial education, they are going to manage the inheritance like adults as well, or more than all other adults. So it's like keeping the richness, the wealth inside, circulating inside the family, instead of you children or the grandchildren to become broke in the near future. So the ninth method is all about investments in a family office. So in this case, we can take the JP Morgan as an example. Imagine you are wealthy, super wealthy, and you just create a family office. So investing just in the family. So it is like a family office is a private wealth and management, like management advisory firm, serving ultra high net worth families. These are like ultra rich families. So practical example of that, let's say a wealthy family sets up a family office to manage all of the investments, taxes as well, and estate planning in one place. So the family office ensures like continuity of wealth, manages large scale investments, and helps in making strategic financial decisions that benefit future generations. So ladies and gentlemen, after that I'm going to give a quick summary of this. So it is all about having the money circulating inside the family, teaching your children and grandchildren about the financial literacy and the investments, how to live. Maybe if you have a business, you try to prepare mentoring your first child. In the case if you are a business owner, you leave that to your first eldest child. In that case, even though it is just an NGO, you try to form or to mentor one of your child, so they will keep the family, the wealth circulating inside the family and things like that. So what can we say, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion or in summary? So by exploring this generation wealth planning strategies, family can ensure their wealth grows and is transferred effectively across generations. You need education. In this case, this is the main foundation, which we cannot neglect. So whether through trusts, education, funds, or teaching financial literacy, these approaches protects assets and create a lasting legacy. So in the case of wealth, our generation wealth planning, it's all about leaving a legacy, inheritance, your children, grandchildren. So that's all for generation wealth planning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you learned something new today. So don't forget to implement this knowledge in here. Don't just listen. Don't just watch it for fun. You have to watch it, then implement that knowledge. So the wisdom is just the knowledge when it is put into practice. So ladies and gentlemen, just as we began, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and keep your comments coming. That is what I like. So we want to reach 1K. Keep subscribing and hit that bell button. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.